it was reported that there was a glitch in one of Nigeria's largest fintechs, OPay, that saw users buy things without them seeing debit. So this caused like a 714 million naira hole inside OPay. It started in December and lasted till March this year, according to the reports. It's it's a very interesting story actually. But the first question we'll be looking at is how exactly did this happen? Chimozim, do you want to give us a a surface level explanation of how that glitch actually happened, and maybe I can follow it up with some other information we found.
Oh, I mean, how did it happen? There was a technical glitch. At least that's what the report says. That's the official story. That there was a technical glitch. So whether the extent of the glitch, so basically, like certain transactions were kind of misclassified, and since they were misclassified, they were erroneously written as approved, whereas they were not, which is basically what led to the
To the glitch.
to the loss. Yeah.
To the loss, yeah. So so if just to explain better, so it's basically you going into a supermarket, you have 100,000 naira in your account, and you buy groceries worth 50,000 naira, and you hand your card over to the cashier, and normally you're supposed to see a debit of 50,000 naira, and then you have 50,000 naira left. But what happened in this case is that after I've paid, right, and the cashier gives me my receipt, and I can go, I get home and I'm still seeing 100,000 naira in my account basically. So, like Tim Gozum said, it was a misclassification. So, what the report said was that it was supposed to be classified as a pending transaction, but then it was classified as a successful transaction. So, they're saying it was the switch, right, that made this misclassification. So, switches are like basically an intermediary when you send money. So, if I'm using a GT Bank, for example, and I want to send money to Tim Gozrim, the switch basically is like a middleman, routes the money from my end to Tim Gozrim's bank, which is, let's say, First Bank. So I spoke to like someone in the fintech space that understands how these things happened, and the person said that what is odd about this particular glitch is that normally most switches, right, they do something called settlements, like daily settlements.
Everybody does that.
Yeah. So when you do your settlements, you compare your debits and your credits, right? If they are not adding up, right, if the numbers are not making sense, you easily know that something is wrong, and then you can fix it immediately. So he said it was odd that it sort of lasted this that long, December to March. And what he mentioned was that in fraud cases generally, right, or in this case a glitch, what you find out is that most times internal frauds are usually like the biggest risk. External fraud, yes, also a huge risk, but the internal ones are usually like the largest. So it kind of lets you think about a lot of fraud cases we've been seeing. Flutterwave, for example, has been on the receiving end of many fraud cases. We had one from last year, about $2 million, another $24 million case. We also had this year $11 billion naira case. It just goes to show that something really needs to be done about these cases. But to kind of play devil's advocate a bit, it's not just a Nigerian thing, right? I was seeing a report that actually showed that, like, globally, fraud in the financial space every year, at least $4.1 trillion, like, lost, like, yearly. I saw another report I think in partnership, I can't remember who made the report, but it was in partnership with NASDAQ. And they said, I think in the first quarter of 2023 or 2022, like 3 trillion like was moved within the financial sector for like illicit transactions. So it still doesn't take away from the fact that it's a big issue in Nigeria and something we need to be done.
To listen to the full episode of this podcast, visit podcast.techpoint.africa or search for Techpoint Africa Podcast on your favorite podcast platforms.